Like it was said, I've been working with Sitecore for about 14 years. If you need any help, guidance, just want to talk about the Sitecore space or anything of that sort, we've built the community, so reach out. I'll be more than happy to give my 2 cents. Today we'll be talking about the Sitecore Experience Edge, headless content delivery at scale. What is Sitecore Experience Edge? So this is something which is brand new, which came out February of this month. Um, Sitecore Experience Edge is basically a SaaS layer where everything gets delivered to. So the content which you are trying to get to your channels is delivered to the Sitecore Experience Edge. It's available, or it should be available for both Content Hub as well as Experience Management. Currently just released for Content Hub. Experience Management is coming soon. Um, Experience Edge provides both content as well as assets, and it's geographically distributed. It's super fast because it's on the edge, and it's basically an end-to-end solution. So you can deliver the content to the edge and use it any of the channels, like a mobile app, a AR or VR app, a POS machine, a website. You could pretty much think of anything you want, and you'd be able to push it to that. Here's some info. I'm not going to read through all of it, but basically, by getting that content which you are needing in a really fast pace on the CDNs, you can do things a lot faster. You don't have to deal with, complicated infrastructure and setup. Everything is scaled by default and it's highly performant. So you can pretty much use it anywhere on any platform you choose to, because it's available via a GraphQL endpoint. So any device which can make a web call, you should be able to use the Experience Edge on it. This is how the topology looks like. So you have the Content Hub or Sitecore XM on the left. You can push content to different delivery regions automatically. It's exposed via the GraphQL endpoint, and your channels, your customers, your websites, your mobile apps can talk to these uh, edge-based networks to pull this content and utilize it in their systems. Um, Content Hub default has two APIs for Experience Edge. One is called Delivery, which is where all the production-ready content is available. So depending on the states you set up, the simplest way to say is that all the content which is published or in the final workflow state is available on the Delivery API. All other content, including the published content, is available in the Preview API for you to do whatever you need to. Uh, GraphQL, sorry, been having horrible allergies. Um, GraphQL's been around for quite a bit of time, and we've talked about GraphQL in our own space, in the Sitecore space, quite a lot. GraphQL endpoint is what is available for Sitecore Experience Edge. So let's take a look real quick. What I'm going to do is, I'm not sure how many of you have looked at Content Hub, but this is the latest version of Content Hub. There's several aspects to Content Hub. So there's products, which is PCM, product content management. There is MRM, which is the marketing resource management. It's used more for scheduling, making sure things, it's almost like a Jira or a Confluence in the Content Hub world. CMP, which is all to do with different content types and storing content, so blogs, news, articles, authors. And then there's DAM by default, which is available to store assets. Today we'll be looking at PCM just because I have the data set up in the proper way. So in PCM, we have catalogs, so you can store products for different groups of products. So if we're selling books, if we're selling drinks, you can have different catalogs. Each catalog can have a product family inside of it. So product families are, categories essentially. So we have healthful chips, powerful snacks, fruitful lemonade. Sorry, guys. Um, and then we finally have products themselves. So we have products listed. What's different from a previous version of Content Hub other than other things is once you have the Experience Edge as part of your Content Hub, you'll start seeing these icons now, the cloud icons, which represent if this piece of content was pushed to the edge or not. In this case, yes, it's been pushed to the delivery platform. In this case, it hasn't. It hasn't because of, certain conditions. So you could set that up if you choose to. So depending on how comfortable you are, go back here. Actually, I could do it from there too. Here. And then if you look at, these are all your entities inside of your Content Hub. And you could do quite a bit of, you could modify these and do a bunch of things in terms of how you want to process these, but you could also set parameters of if this entire entity, first of all, is capable of getting to the delivery platform. If it is, what are the conditions, right? And then you can choose a date field in here as like a scheduling field if you want to. Publishing conditions will show you, currently the only way this will make it to the delivery API is if the status is approved. If the status is not approved, it's not going to go there. And then for each of the content, um, entities or content types, you could set a different parameter. You could, like in this case, we have dates available on m.asset. So you could say, okay, when the date is this, use it as a published date, right? Or in this case, it needs to be following certain conditions where the final workflow state needs to be approved. It needs to be this, this, and this. So based on your entity, you could set different parameters to specify how it will get to the experience edge. Now going back here, you've noticed that certain things have, so you see approved status is directly linked to if it makes it there or not. Same exact way, you get access to two endpoints. One is a preview endpoint, which is right there. The other one is the delivery endpoint. Both of them look the same, but the data they bring in is a little bit different. As you can see, all I'm trying to do is get me all products and get me certain attributes of the products, and then for the asset, get me all assets and get me the asset public link for each of the assets. So when we look into the results on the delivery side, they're not that many. There's just like 6, which is fine. When we go back here and take a quick look, that sounds about right. When we go into the preview and do the same, we should get a lot more than 6 because preview includes things which are published and not published to the Experience Edge, right? So we get a lot more, which makes sense. And that is the major difference between them. In terms of knowing how to search, it's all about type ahead, all about knowing like what you want to do, right? So in my case, I wanted to bring all the products in, and then everything I did followed that path. So if I do the document, so GraphQL is built with documentation as part of what you code. So it's already documented by the time you're done specifying what your entities are, what the queries are. So if you look at it, I'm looking for all PCM product. Just by looking at this, it tells me that it's a collection. So I get results. So I go into results. And if you follow the line 2 and line 3, I'm at line 3 over here. I'm getting ID, I'm getting a certain, specific types of attributes in terms of long description, short description. Then I want to get the assets for this product. Now, when I go into that, which is in line 8 and line 9, over here. And then I know the results are a collection again. And then from the results, I can get more, and you could go on and on and on and on. And like I mentioned, it's self-documented. It gets really easy. If you make a mistake, you get a really nice error telling you, hey, this is what's happening. You do need your GraphQL token available. I'm not showing the whole thing, but you can set up auth tokens inside your Content Hub. You have to use this header x-gql-token, which is a little bit different than a standard auth token, but that's what's required in your headers in order for it to work. And it's super simple. So if you know your data, if you know what you're looking for, you could either do like type ahead over here, if I wanted all assets, and then go from there. Or if you feel comfortable looking at the documentation, you can do that as well over here. So that's our GraphQL portion of it. Um, Now, we looked at, how the content gets delivered to the GraphQL endpoints. We've talked briefly about what it does, which is it delivers your content, your assets to the edge. It's a really fast CDN is the best way I could put it. All around the world, it's globally delivered, so you can pull data really fast. Now, based on that information, which option would I choose and why? My option would always be this. So for me, or at least for the past 2 years, once we realized the power of Omni Channel, Sitecore Content Hub is it. So Sitecore Content Hub gives you end-to-end from ideation of a content all the way to publishing. It gives you all the tools for you to do that. So with CMP, PCM, MRM, and DAM, you have everything you need. What's really cool about the Sitecore Experience Edge is that you not only get the CMP info, but you also get the PCM, and you already have the DAM delivered to the CDN anyway. So with all three, I wouldn't use anything else to build websites if I had a choice. I wouldn't use anything else to build a mobile app as a source if I had any other choice. So that's the choice I would pick. I would do that, push it to, the Sitecore Experience Edge. I like using Marcel because I like building things on Next.js. There is no SDK or anything of that sort because it's a standard GraphQL endpoint. We have blog posts out there showing you how to do it. You would consume that in there, build and deploy, push it to your mobile apps, push it to your websites, push it to your syndicated, partners so that they have the content. That's what I personally would pick. That's my personal opinion. Uh, this slide, everything on this comes from Sitecore literature. I did not write anything in there. I did mention the Omni Channel a couple of times. If I had the choice, I would fill the whole screen with omnichannel. Omnichannel is you build content once and reuse it a million times. And you build it in one place, and everyone who's involved in building the content builds it in that place. So that to me is Content Hub. That's one of the biggest reasons of why it is end to end. It is available. It's scaled by default. Content Hub is a really good marketer friendly tool. It gives you the freedom to build it in whatever you want. You want to build it in .NET Core, go ahead and do that. You want to build it in Next.js, do that. You want to build it in Gatsby, go ahead. You want to build it in PHP, go ahead. You can absolutely do this in anything you want. It gives you the freedom. The concept of being able to do content modeling, digital assets at the same time, planning and collaboration, to me, using Content Hub with Sitecore Experience Edge is the best option at this moment out there in the Sitecore space. I would not touch anything else. We talked about omnichannel a little bit, and I don't want to go over it again, but it is the best way to think of your content strategy, whether you're working with a customer or your own company. It is better right now to get into the omnichannel perspective and produce content rather than the traditional web CMS perspective where the content is purely built with only the website in mind and nothing else. So I definitely urge you guys to think of that. So the next one, which was a surprise when I first re re revealed it to people, is we actually launched a mobile app to pull content from Sitecore Experience Edge for Content Hub. Why we did that is a lot of the times people are saying, here's an emulator with a mobile app, and we actually wanted a physical mobile app to get there, get into people's hands, and actually for them to use it to see how it looks like. It took us about 4 days from design to publishing it to the App Store. We built it in Flutter. It was absolutely easy to do that. So you build it once, pushed it to both Apple App Store and the Google Play. Obviously, Apple denied us because they basically said there's not enough functionality in the app, so they denied the app, which is okay. At least we got through to the Google Play. There is the QR code right there at the bottom if you guys want to use it to download it. Let me do a demo at this moment in time, which would be awesome. So let me open this guy up. So we looked at this Sitecore Content Hub with Experience Edge. We have a bunch of products. The products, there's about 6 products which are on the delivery network, 6 products which are on the delivery network, as we can see right here, right? Um, and sorry, I'm trying to bring something up real quick. Okay, that's good. Bring this up. So what you see over here is my mobile phone. So that is my phone. I'm going to go into the app as well. And if you notice, I have 6 over there as well. So I can switch between delivery and preview. Preview obviously has more than delivery, so we know that. On the mobile app, you could do the same. So you could enter a preview mode. This is publicly hosted mobile app, by the way. Sorry, a web app, by the way. You could hit it as much as you want. It's push to Vercel. And as you can see, the preview mode also has quite a bit of products in here as well. What we are going to try to do, and I think I've modified this so many times, I have to keep an eye on it. So we are going to find let's do this guy. We'll find the orange, and then what we will do is we will modify content. So what we've done here is that we realize that for a mobile app, you can't really, unless you do a lot of processing and pain, you can't use rich text like the way we've used it in the past in the websites, right? So a rich text field doesn't naturally translate to a mobile app unless you do it in the JSON LD, sorry, not JSON LD, portable JSON format, which then you can interpret accordingly and then render it on a mobile app, which currently we don't have the ability to. So what we've done is we've split it up here. So mobile app, full main test, right? And then what I'll do, what I'm hoping will happen is I'm going to save this. What I'm hoping will happen is I'm using the short description in the mobile app and I'm using the long description in the web app. So I just saved it. It should go into preview. We are in the preview mode because this item did not make it to delivery because it's not in publish, right? As you can see, I refresh the page on the right. Since we're in the preview mode, it'll say, orange is the new lemon, and then we see web app Pune test. If we look at our mobile app, I'm going to go into the preview mode. I'm going to open the fruitful lemonade, and then you can see that the mobile app Pune test. So we can make the change and get it delivered pretty fast. It's not a question of waiting. It takes about 10 seconds or so at the most. and you're able to do that. This piece of code is available. We have I have a slide at the end. I can show it to you. It's available in a public repo. You can use it whichever way you want. There's some directions there. If you have other than your own instance, everything in here is available for you 100%. There's no code which is hiding or anything like that. The only thing which you don't have access to is the mobile app Flutter code. But other than that, the website app, you have pure access. You could do whatever you choose to in here. Okay, let me go back here. All right, next. So one of the biggest misconceptions in the Jamstack world is that you cannot personalize. I think that's one of the wrong messages companies and individuals peddle out there, but it's totally false. You can absolutely personalize on Jamstack. There's so many tools you could use. Google Optimize, you could use Optimizely, you could use Uniform, and there's quite a few others. Once you start getting to there's a website called Know Your DXP. If you go there and you look at it, every single function you need for a website, you can find a company or two which do business in that space and give you the ability to do that. One thing I wanted to mention is, we all know that recently Sitecore bought, Box Ever on 451. We had a really nice conversation and we got some presentation from Dave from Box Ever, kind of showed us what's possible in Box Ever, right? So, for instance, they built it, they architected it for the cloud to start with. It's supposed to be seamless, supposed to provide really good experience. We are supposed to be able to do the personalization at a really big scale. That's what we've been told. You don't have to use it with Sitecore. You can use it with whatever you need to at this moment anyways, but I don't know how that's going to change. They have a really good customer data platform where it aggregates all of this data for personalization from you can aggregate it from websites, mobile apps, any system you choose to. And then what it does is it creates a unified profile for a customer. It segments the customer, and we have customer analytics. And what they claim you could do is it'll provide you the best experience for that specific customer on the channel you choose to. So if it's on web or a mobile channel, whatever that is. I have looked at the training app, training a little bit. It was just a lot of clicking. I just like access to an instance. So for now, I'm just choosing not to do that. But it should be a really good option if you were going with Sitecore Content Hub with Sitecore Experience Edge. You could use Box Ever, and you have your neat little Jamstack app with a lot of personalization. But for now, I'm going to talk about Uniform. So a lot of you should know Uniform. Uniform is built by some of the smartest people who had left Sitecore. They're really super smart, and they've done a lot of work on this. And we actually, as a company, we use Uniform for our customers because we think it's a really good opportunity to use them. So let me go back and kind of show you guys a couple of things for personalization. So what we did is on the Uniform end, I have a Content Hub demo where I've set up personalization. In the personalization world, once you get out of the Sitecore space, you talk about intents, you talk about signals. So if you're accustomed to that, it's easy to remember. But if you're predominantly doing it mainly in the Sitecore world, then it sounds a little bit odd. So I have 4 signals here. The 4 signals correspond with the 4 product families that we saw because I just wanted to make it a little bit simpler. So what I want to do is, depending on which product family a person goes, I want to say, oh, this guy likes this product category. So let me show that on the home page is basically what I want to do. All of them have one signal except the other one. It's based on behavior, which is if you go there. Um, the Fruitful Lemonade, though, has a extra one based on query string for campaigns. So if you're running Google campaigns, if you're running like any of the ad campaigns where you have a UTM campaign link, so right there, you could use that to store more analytic data for that specific customer so you can give more personalized information. So let me go back in here. So I've showed you the intents. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the home page. On the home page, right now, I see product snack bars is what's been showed to me as, hey, you might be interested in these products. We have this Chrome extension, which they recently released. I have an older version, but this one would do. Here you can see that right now there is no personalization running, but it does detect the signals. It detects that, I have four intents. Each of them have one signal except the Fruitful Lemonade, right? So it's kind of nice that it detects that, it knows that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Healthful Chips. Once I go into Healthful Chips, what should happen is it now detected, because it's based on behavior, it detected that, oh, wait, this guy just went to Healthful Chips. So when he goes to the home page again, it's going to show me Healthful Chips because that's the one which it personalized it for. So you can switch back and forth. You could do a bunch of things. You could have many more signals. So these are only two of a handful of signals you could create with Uniform. There's a paid version where you get access to different types of signals, and there's a lot more coming from them in a month or two, which is exciting, and I can't wait to see that. All right. So now, as you can see, we are in Healthful Chips. What I'm going to do is I will add a UTM tag for lemonade, and I want to see what happens. So as you can see, assume that I clicked on a Google ad, came to our site, we get the UTM campaign. It's showing me Fruitful Lemonade because the Fruitful Lemonade score was set to the strongest, which is higher than the the one currently I have for the Healthful Chips, right? So it's going to show me Fruitful Lemonade no matter what I do. So let me go into Powerful Granola, come back to the home page. Still shows me Fruitful Lemonade because if you look at it, I have 50-50 for Powerful Granola and Healthful Chips, but I have 100 for Fruitful Lemonade. How can I change that? I can change that by going into Healthful Chips many times, right? So now you can see Healthful Chips is the same strength as Fruitful Lemonade, except that we know that the behavior-wise, this was triggered recently. But I want to play with it a little bit more. So I want to go into Powerful Granola. Now, Powerful Granola is at 100. If I go into Powerful Granola again and come back, now Powerful Granola will be 150. So you could do quite a bit and different types of personalization with this, and it works seamlessly. As you can see, it's super fast. It works really, really well, and I haven't seen any issues whatsoever. From a coding perspective, just show you real quick. It's super simple. And again, all of this code is out there in that repository. I'm not showing you anything I don't have. You do have to set up your, what do you call, you can set it up using the thing we've given you, the repository, and that way it'll be easier for you. What we do is that there's some settings which I don't want to open this file, but this the repository talks you through. Let me actually go back there. So the repository actually talks you through what you need to do. So once you clone it, you have to go into the environment local, make sure you have all of these, and then you'll have access to the code, right? So what I have is on the home page. I basically am saying, all right, this is what the home page is. Here is where I want to personalize the category I am going to display. So as you see, there is a product category component which is capable of displaying one product category's um, products, which is this component. This is the same component which is inside of the category page as well. We just in here we just are saying, hey, by the way, I want you to display the product category for a specific product is what we're saying at this moment in time, right? So if you come back in here, all we're doing is show the product category and then track the behavior. When we say track behavior, all we're doing is we're saying use behavior tracking, which goes back to uniform. But when we're showing it on the home page, we're saying don't track behavior, because what we want to do on the home page is we want to display a personalized category products, not track the behavior and personalize. So the code is super simple. It doesn't take, it's really not that difficult. You just, install a couple of packages and it's super simple for you to get through with this. So I think, you guys should be able to easily do this. Here's the repository again, which you should be able to download. The QR code is right there. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer it to you on Slack or on Twitter or anything like that. So please make sure you reach out to me. I do have to add some instructions for uniform in this repository, but the code is all there. It works, it runs, it's all merged into the main branch. With that, I am pretty much done. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Akshay. So I have few questions from the participants. I'll just iterate it to you. So the first question is, if anyone knows the GraphQL endpoints, they can misuse those endpoints to get the data from Content Hub. How can we achieve authentication for GraphQL endpoints?
So as I showed you in the thing, there is a token you have to pass. You can set up the tokens to do different things. So let me see if I can go back here. So you can just hit the endpoint and do whatever you need to. You have to specify an auth token. The auth tokens can be controlled in the sense that you could specify a token and you can specify what you can and can't do with the auth tokens. So depending on how you set it up, you could set it up so that only a specific collection can attach to the auth token. So let me see. So you can control it whichever way you choose to, really, on that in terms of providing a specific key. So I could only create the key for a specific content collection if I choose to. I could restrict what the person can and can't do with the key. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I can't modify this at this moment, but you can create it. You could create the key only for the delivery or the preview for a specific content collection. So you can control what happens with the key, but you can't hit it without the key. And this is a very standard situation in the headless world. If you're using the API first technologies, every single one of them depends on tokens. If you have a token, you can access it. If you don't have a token, you can't access it.
Thanks, Akshay. So the next question is, as you explained for BoxEver, can we use Universal Tracker to get analytics data at Sitecore site?
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I don't know if Sitecore's going to make any updates to Universal Tracker, to be honest. It was one of my favorite products, as you probably know, because of the humongous demo we did at all the Sitecore user groups with people tracking with their lanyards. It is still one of my favorite products, but I don't know where they're going with it. Technically, yes, you can. You should be able to use Universal Tracker to pull events from other places and push it into things such as BoxEver or Uniform or any other API-based tools because they just make it easier because of the API availability and documentation. So you can easily go in there and then push, any types of events you like.
Thank you, Akshay. The next one is Sitecore introduced AI for auto personalization. How will it work with this model?
So we don't know if and how the personalization will be available from a Sitecore XM perspective on the Experience Edge. From what I know, it is something that they are working on. I do know from a Content Hub perspective, there is no personalization at this moment. Boxever, however, is a direct replacement of that. So the AI personalization is something Boxever prides itself on doing. So I can only see once they integrate it into Content Hub how seamless it will become for you to use that instead of the Sitecore AI personalization. But if you're stuck in an XM world and you do have a lot invested in that, you have to rely on the Sitecore Experience Edge for XM, which is supposed to be released soon. And when it does release, I don't really know what features it's going to have, honestly, but I don't think personalization is something which will be launched in the initial release, but they might launch it in a subsequent release.
Thank you, Akshay. So the next question is, as a Sitecore partners, what can we do to get the access to Content Hub?
So what we do is you have from your show pad, you can purchase it's a very minimal cost. I forget, it's like $300 or something to sign up, and then monthly it depends on the usage. So we have an instance which we use. As an MVP, you get like another $50 discount or something like that. So ping in the MVP channel and you should be able to get that. That is the best way you could get access to. As a partner, from a partner perspective, if you guys are planning on doing the Content Hub specialized badging, you get access to instances from there as well. So those are the two ways.
Thank you. So the other question is, will Boxever will replace XM in future?
If you're asking me personally, I think it is, yes.
Okay.